Hi, this is Tracy Collins of Healthy Black Girl Podcast, a weekly podcast centered around Black women in all aspects of our mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, and physical health and healing. Come join us on this journey. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me again today. And my name is Tracy Collins, and I help women find their true passion, turn their passion into profit so they can live their life on their own terms. So, today I want to talk to you about work life balance. And someone left a comment, and that was their question like, Tracy, how do you balance between work and life? And I love the question because it's often sometimes that we as women we feel guilty about in one way shape or form, not committing enough to one or the other, or feeling that we're overworked and can't give enough to our loved ones and more importantly ourselves. So let's dive in. First and foremost, I have decided at this stage of my life I am more concerned about life balance and putting work in its place. And let me explain what that means. For me, it means, what does Tracy want to do? What fuels me? What gives me joy and passion and makes my soul smile? And oftentimes it's not centered around work or making money. It's centered around the simpler things in life. And we have grown up in a hustle culture. And a lot of that stuff is brainwashing that I've learned. And it does not serve the overall good and spirit of those most times. So hold on, turn my phone off. All right. So yeah, it just does not serve your overall spirit. And at this stage in my life, I really love the phrase chasing freedom. And what does freedom mean? I don't like the term successful because everybody's definition of success is different. But oftentimes, what I find is that it's equated to money. And so when someone says, "Oh, Tracy, you're successful," I'm like, "Well, what does that mean? What does success mean to you?" Because oftentimes our definitions are going to differ. My definition of success is freedom, freedom to do as I please on my own terms, as long as I'm not hurting myself or anybody else. Freedom to get up and go, freedom to see the world and travel and not feel guilty about fulfilling my life's joys and what gives me peace and what gives me ease to operate and move in this world. And because I have such a creative mind and I'm always innovating, um, I need the clarity, I need the peace, I need the ease, I need the simplicity because it allows me to be so much more creative. It allows me to think better. It allows me to put things in direction and in context. It allows me to prioritize and what's important versus what's pressing versus what can wait and what says we don't even need to reply or respond to that. And the more I move in that space, what I'm finding is that so many people aren't there. A lot of others fester in negativity and in thriving in that toxic cesspool. And that's just not something that works for me. When people are really truly entrepreneurs and CEOs, we have to have a sense of direction and focus and clarity all the time. And being a woman CEO or being a Black woman in business, we have to be very strategic in how we move. And we have to always have our level of discernment up and trying to balance or balancing or rebalancing and redefining for myself what work life balance means. It's about putting things in their place. It's about prioritizing importance. It's about knowing that I don't need all the things that they sell us and tell us that we need to in order to be happy because the barometer will always be changed. And I know many of you guys who are women in business, you understand what that means. You will never be good enough, or there's always something more to prove, or there's always a new level to reach. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this on my own terms. And I'm doing things to simplify my life. And that means realizing that we don't need the things, the tangible things mean like really absolutely hold no value. The true things that hold value are they don't cost money, like your time. Like, well, your time does cost money in business, but I'm saying your precious time here on earth and how we choose to utilize it. Our time with our family, our time, with our friends. I in my book that's coming out next year, I state that oftentimes I feel like I'm living in reverse. And that's a good thing because I'm getting back to the things that I love to do. What did little Tracy like to do? So when we talk about balancing life and work, and I understand there's priorities, I understand there's commitments that need to be upheld, but what matters to you? What I have learned in my lifetime is that women spend a lot of time defining themselves through others, through the eyes of others. And and just think about it. And when people say, "Well, tell me about yourself," they'll be like, "I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm, such and such to this business. I am a sister, I am a friend," and you can be all of those things. But to me, when somebody says, "Well, tell me about yourself," I love to travel. I love to write. I love my peace of mind. I cherish solitude, but I also cherish time with my family. Um, I love food. I travel for food. Like those are the things. I love nature. I love plants. I love water and being near water and being in water. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Do you see? Do you see the difference? I'm not defining Tracy through somebody else's eyes because you're going to always be dissatisfied or you're going to always fall short in the eyes of someone else. But as long as I'm not hurting myself or anybody else with, and moving in intention and doing and being what creator has called me to be with ease and coming to terms with that and asking for guided steps, then I can speak to that. And I'm not saying I'm somebody's wife, even though I am. And I'm not saying I'm somebody's mother, even though I am. And I'm not saying I'm somebody's daughter, even though I am. It's not that it's remiss, but it's secondary to who we are. So when we talk about restructuring or revamping what work-life balance means, it's really about life balance. I'm about putting work in her place. Like, girl, I need you to be able to run without me. How can we make this happen? Or how can we make sure that we maximize our time and not spending our time being like like equating busy with productivity because just because you're busy doesn't mean you're being productive. So how can we make sure that we master and maximize our level of productivity when we're working so that way we can maximize our ease, we can maximize our joy, we can maximize planning, doing things that bring us laughter and peace and that feed our spirit and soul. So I just want to get on here and encourage you to really reframe what society has told women, especially Black women. Y'all know what that means now because we are called on or called upon and expected to without question. And you just got to go and you got to give and you got to do and you got to just, you rest when you die. We're not doing that anymore. No, we're going to rest and we're not going to feel guilty about it. We're going to rest our mind. And I'm talking to myself because I have a tendency to be still, but my mind goes. So rest my mind, get centered with soul. That's why I love plants so much. I love my plants so much because I can play in the dirt. I can touch the leaves, and it just has a way of grounding me. It has a way of centering me. It has a way of making me slow down and just be in the moment. Um, when I am planting or watering or growing something, it just brings me such joy. So I encourage you to think about, how can you redefine your work life balance and really put in work in her place? And when you are there, how can you make sure that you're productive and not just busy? And then making sure within that you are creating boundaries that really are setting true to what direction and how you want your life to go and move and shape and be seen and defined. Nobody defines how I move. I don't care if you like it or not. Make it make sense to me. Because if it's not affecting my quality of life, and if it is disrupting my peace and ease, yeah, I'm not doing it. And be okay with the word no. I love no. No is a full and complete sentence within itself, and it deserves no explanation. It stands on its own. So you want to make sure that you are being true to thyself, but first also knowing, what does that mean? What do you want? What brings you peace, joy, and ease? Who are you without defining yourself through somebody else's eyes? Can you, and how can you, as you begin to move in this entrepreneurial path, put work in your place or in her place? And if you're not an entrepreneur, how can you create a life without being on somebody else's time clock? I'm gonna say that again for people in the back. How can you create a life for yourself without being on somebody else's time clock? Without somebody putting a cap on how much they're willing to pay you? I want you to start asking yourself these questions. And then I want you to start moving as if it's happened and be committed to yourself. I always say, I've never met a person who regretted betting on themselves. I didn't say it was easy. I didn't say you weren't going to get any obstacles or any resistance, but that only creates more character in who you are or who you're trying to be. And then curate your own story, define yourself, and then you will begin to see all of the pieces of that equation fall into place. You will begin to see those who are meant to come will come, and those who aren't will go. You are going to create. And if you guys haven't seen the 22 things that I learned, thought I wish I knew before I became an entrepreneur, please make sure you check out that video. I'll be sure to link it in the description. But how can you then maneuver like somebody who owns just them? They have full autonomy over self. And then you can best have that life balance that you seek. And I really, really encourage all women, if you don't take nothing away from this, I encourage all women to define yourself through your own eyes. Those other things are secondary. But who are you? Who are you through your eyes? So when somebody asks, who is Tracy Collins? I'm a creative beast. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a CEO. And I love the dirt. I love being in water. I love traveling. I love eating food, because anything that we do in our life is to bring us joy. And I know that pleasure and abundance are my birthright. So if it's not falling under those lines, I know life is going to bring us obstacles and trials. But as much as I can, I'm going to make sure that what I do and what I create and who I am, I know at the foundation of it all that I am grateful for what I have now in this moment, that I am more than enough just as I am, and that pleasure and abundance are my birthright. point, period, blank. And if you don't like it, that's okay. I don't have to be for you, but I'm comfortable and confident in knowing who I am and the direction that I'm going. So drop your comments in the below. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's get this comments going. Let's get this engagement up. Please make sure you like and subscribe because it definitely helps YouTube push the channel. It helps with the YouTube algorithms and the YouTube God saying, oh, people want more of this. But just more so about the term women empowerment is so overdone, but if just embody power, okay, and define you for you, and you create the life balance that you seek. All right. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Tracy Collins, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to another episode of Healthy Black Girl Podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms as Healthy Black Girl Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And you can follow me personally, Tracy Collins, on Instagram. See you next time.